karibuni, welcome tuelimishwe kwa masuala ya jamii, tuchunguzwe sana mbalimbali, tujuzwe juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, wapa burudani kwa familia nzima.
And good evening, my name is Likuyani Eli. What a way to start your week, kwa sababu tumefika Tuesday, and on Tuesday it is my perspective. Actually, it's not mine. It's for every other person that is here. And to start us off, of course, we have one and only Muhonja Africa in Nairobi, Kenya. Good evening, Muhonja. Mambo vipi?
Poa sana.
Umeshindaje?
Nimeshinda poa. Thanks for having me.
Karibu. I know you are really prepared for this show. Kwa sababu we are talking about custody matters.
I'm boiling.
You meet somebody, you fall in love because he's tall, he's dark, and he's handsome. But then again, you're not the only lady that is here tonight, because for the very first time we have one and only Mwimbi Mwimbaji. This lady, she has so much energy. You think you have energy in your, Muhonja? Let's find out. Idel, where you? Good evening, Idel. Mambo vipi? Idel, kama unanisikia, mbona umekasirika? Umeanza show kama umekasirika.
How are you?
Unatusikia? I'm good. How are you?
Nakusikia. How are you?
I'm great. We are just talking about children, and when we talk about children, you deal with children kwa sababu ni mwalimu, but we'll be coming to that later on as we continue the conversation. And of course, the only legal mind on set tonight, one and only Godwin Segero. Vipi bro?
Poa sana wadau. How are you?
Yaani umeamua kukuja umekaa fiti, lakini network inakufanyia ile kitu.
Imagine, inajua kitu nataka kuongelea, imeamua kutesa. But we will be bringing the legal minds to this conversation later on in the conversation. So let me throw Godwin backstage. And for the man that all of you have been asking where he is, the man that is very controversial with too much energy when he gets here. But well, his controversy is not anything new, because he's about the Africanness in all of us. One and only, the African man. Good evening.
Santini. Good evening, Eddie. It's been a long time.
We almost thought you are retired.
No, I was waiting for you to come from Africa, so I'm very curious what you have brought.
Awesome. You know, my perspective has changed the way we look at things. Now we bring the men and the women on the same set, and we discuss about issues that affect all of us. To the matter of discussion tonight, ladies and gentlemen, child custody. Should we even be fighting about children? Let me start with Mwalimu.
Not really.
I'm going to start with who?
Mwalimu. Okay, Idel Kweyu ni mwalimu.
I don't think it's good to fight over children, because at the end of the day, it affects the children, not us. It affects the children, not us. So it's not good to fight over them. It's good to make an agreement on how to raise them. Yeah.
And if the agreements don't work, what do you do then?
Now, if the agreement between the two of us doesn't work, is when now we have to involve the law. The law, or the church pastor, or the elders in the village. But if the two of us can agree on how to raise these children and just give them a peace of mind, because our fights, let's assume it's me now, I'm owning the story. So our fights will still affect the kids, their growth, their nowadays you see kids have stress and depression. Kids in primary have stress, and all those brought by us parents. So I don't think it's good to fight over kids, and if you're fighting, let's fight in huku kando wasijue.
Muhonja, should we be fighting in the bedroom about these children that most of us worked very hard in the night to bring them to life?
I think if you ask me, we were having a conversation with you, I think earlier on, and I told you I've grown up knowing people don't fight in relationships, because I've never seen my parents fight. So any instance where we have a disagreement with my partner, I'm packing my things and I'm leaving like nobody's business. So I think children should also understand that it is very normal. It is very normal that parents can split because of reasons best known to them. It's normal that a parent can die and he or she may not be in a position to take care of the child. It is very important to let the children grow up understanding that a family setup is not strictly like this, because then it becomes a huge problem that leads to what Mwalimu is saying about children getting into depression. So I strongly feel that, it's not like the fight should be physical and all that, but we should involve the children also, even in courts when we are talking about custody.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I know Matasio is laughing because he is the guy that deals with everything called African here. And Noreen is saying, Matasio,
I was
waiting and writing notes as he, as he smiles. Zile points anapanga kuleta. Let's start with you, Matasio. Hebu fungua flow.
Yeah, yeah, we know when we talk about custody, mbona watu wanaanza kuwa so negative? Because this word custody, the narrative tunaitumia the moment kuna vita. But basically, custody, we have physical, kwanza tuwapangie sasa kabla legal mind akuja. Kuna physical custody, kuna legal custody, kuna sole custody, na kuna joint custody. Main, chenye tunaongelea sasa tuna focus sana ni hapa pa joint custody kwa sababu mmeachana.
Yeah.
Unanielewa?
Yeah.
Now, first of all, ni normal kufaitia rights zako kwa mtoto. Doesn't matter. It's all about you fight to be able to see your child. Even in joint custody, unapata tu moana lakini unaambiwa usikuje home sahi kabla watoto hawajalala. Unaona? So you see,
Why? Why would you not go to your own house?
What is the point? What is the point of being a father who never takes the kid to bed? Na watoto lala 8 o'clock. Na si kuja home saa ngapi? So hizo zote ziko. Lakini tunaanza kuipush hii ya joint custody, hii ya vita hii. We can focus on that one. I think when we are talking about custody in separation, we are extending our fight. No. Hapo pali mmefikishana kupigania watu hii, mlishapigania pesa, mlishapigania rent, mlishapigania mabeste, mlishapigania mpango za kando. Sasa hii ya mtoto ndio inakuanga ya mwisho. That's why it's painful. Nanielewa. That's why it's painful. For me, the only thing I can say is, from an African point of view, easy quite simple. There is nothing new under the sun. The only thing new is we are starting to normalize it, irrespective of the effect it has to a child. I'll attack straight. When you think as a parent, wacha tupigane mtoi ataelewa. Chenye unasema ni kwamba napatia mtoto wangu trauma. Simple. Nafungia hapo for now.
Kwa hiyo, yes.
Tumeanza kupanda huyu mti na juu. Hatujaanzia chini. We are supposed to start.
Wewe panda kutoka chini. Anza kupanda kutoka chini. Kwa sababu kuna watu leo wamekuja kupanda hii miti. Kuna watu backstage. Kuna watu backstage wamekuja kupanda hii miti. Tuendelee.
Okay, me now, the story was tumepatana, you left me pregnant. Umezaa watoto. What caused the separation really matters a lot, because I can't say that maybe men are always bad. No, it depends also what caused the separation, first of all, and then from there, kuna mtu mmoja mwenye ako responsible mahali, mwenye haezi kupewa mtoi, watu mtu atateseka tu. So you have to know what was the cause of the separation and why are we fighting for the custody? Because mtu anafaa kana mama yake mpaka 18 years. Anafaa nyonye, anafaa alishwe. Unataka custody as in, yeah? Sasa depends with the age.
Depends with the age, depends with the circumstance. Yes.
Ngoja, umemeniwa alafu kapotea. si kusikia kuna kashetani kalikata. Hebu rudia.
Wewe ngoja, African man, as you deal with that your kashetani, let me allow other men to contribute to this conversation, because this is a great info session that I want all of us to be part of. But of course, later on we'll be having one more guest joining. But Godi, tumeletewa hapa circumstance yenye nasema tuliwachana because things were not working out, alafu maybe kuna issue kulingana na mzazi and all that. What will be the circumstance that will make you leave, hata kana kwamba wewe kama afisa wa sheria unaona inafanya ati mtoto lazima kae na mamake mpaka 18 year old? Is that the fact? Are those facts? Unmute please. Unmute Godwin.
Yeah, so what happens, mtoi kuna kitu inaitwa custody ya underage children, na hiyo ni age ya 10 and below. Unaona?
Yep.
Legally inafaa huyo mtoto akwe na under the custody of the mother. You understand? But now there are also other circumstances zenye now the mother will not be allowed to have the child under her custody. Unasikia? One is when the well-being of the child iko at risk. Unasikia? So you cannot just say because she's the mother atakuwa na mtoto, yet the mother is maybe an abuse substance, she's harmful. Unajua? So you cannot leave the child under the care of the mother when the child's well-being is at risk. Unaelewa? And then also we have scenarios where we've had mothers leaving their kids at a very young age. Maybe hata mtoto wa in days. Unaona? We had a case ilikuwa huko Kambani where the mother gave birth to a daughter, and then the mother left the daughter with the father, akapotea. Unaona? So she came later on, I think 16 years later, akiclaim anataka custody ya mtoto. Unaona? But at this point alifanya nini? Alikuwa amehepa. So the father was entitled to have the custody of the kid. Unaona? Because he had proven anaweza resume mtoto, because from that young age up to 16 she was with the father. So how can you say the father cannot be in custody of the child? Understand?
Okay. Great. Let's just go again back to where it all begins, where these two people meet, and then all of a sudden things are not working. And to help us understand what would a man think, a normal man, let me invite Paul Wakimani. Good evening sir. Kama unanisikia hebu kuja hapa. Umemute, umepeleka wapi screen yako? Kimani. Wakimani, if you're there. Okay, uya mama kutufanyia ile kitu. Asani mnunuenge internet bwana. atarudi later on. African man.
Yes.
Before I twist it back to Edel. A lot of times we see that these ladies that we call our women, once we die, all of a sudden we own those children. Have you seen this in our society? And why is this the normal thing to happen during funerals?
Yeah. I told you the fight is going on until you die. Saa zile uko alive, fight ni kwamba mtoto hata umuoni. Saa zile ushakufa, fight ni kwamba lazima mtoto village yote imrecognize. Now, why is that? Because we have learned to take the nice things from our African culture and also put away the other nice things that don't suit us. Sa ile uko na mtoto, yeah, it is you fighting that custody is what you want. You have your own benefits, okay? But the culture is also telling us a child is raised by a community. Hata kujifanya custody. My legal friend is here. I want to ask him straight. Huko Kenya kuna law mbili, customary law na legal law, si ndio?
Exactly.
Wewe unaona ni wapi ungekimbilia kama kuna shida ya mtoto, legal law ama customary law?
Personally, I'll take the legal route.
Yeah.
Unaona?
Yeah.
Because it in a elaborate under circumstances of which mtu anaweza kuwa na custody. And then before we proceed further, there are things that we need to separate. because kuna what we call child responsibility na child custody. Unaona? So for child responsibility ni yenye all the parents are entitled to cater for the financial, mental, physical, na what else? Like na emotional well-being of the child. Unaona? So that one involve all the parents. And then when it comes to custody also, is custody kuna hiyo the actual custody na kuna the legal custody. Unaelewa? Whereby the legal custody is where the two of you have a role in making decisions how the child is going to be raised. So either a mother or the father can decide mtoto atasoma hivi, mtoto ataenda kwa hii kanisa and all that. You see? And then now we have the actual custody where one of the parents will be in possession of the kid. Yeye ndiye ata control maybe kama anaenda shule kuavoid disruption yenye mtoto maybe anaenda shule next time ni baba anasema nataka kaa naye, unaona sasa kuna kwenda confusion. So joint or rather legal custody ni yenye all parents have a role in deciding on how the child is going to be raised. And then now we have the actual custody.
Idel, a lot of times when there are issues between parents or partners, the biggest bone of contention is the gender of the child being discussed. And I think we just lost Adele, but let me throw it to you, Muhonja, and it's not because I'm using you as a backup. Sawa sawa. Sikutumika kama backup. Things just happen here, and during live shows, this kind of stuff can happen. So, and Idel decided to come back. Sasa sijui ni muendeleshe story ama nimalizie hapo. Tuendelee. Most of the time imerudi, hata Yesu alituhangia msalabani, but wewe umerudi. So that was funny note. So when there's a separation issue and there's a child involved, a lot of times the issue here becomes the gender of the child that is the point of focus. Would you be comfortable leaving your child with your husband or partner for that moment if they are a baby girl? Or would you be uncomfortable? And what would be your reasons?
It all depends on the root cause of the separation and the behavior of either of the parents. Mm-hmm. So if the man is not in good position, the men, kama mwanamume anahanya, maybe we separated because of kuhanya or doing what else. I can't leave my girl with him. Hata the boy nowadays, not even the girl. Kwanza boys nowadays ndio wako at risk. So if the behavior of the father is not good, I can't risk leave any of the kids, whether boy or girl, because atamolest too. Lakini kama tabia yake ni poa and tuna trust kabisa he has that fatherly love of the child, and we've agreed that you're going to be staying with this child for this time, then I take him or take her away for some time. Ni sawa kama tumesikizana. But also the men, when you siwezi upatie watoto, I can't even show you the child, even a photo.
Why? Why would you do that, Muhonja? Yes. And why would Adele not show even the photo?
Ellie, you see, I think I will answer this with saying that I have a song. Godi and Ellie know this. It's called Nambahani. And the story behind the song is about a woman who called me in distress. And I had to go to a big hospital here in Nairobi to go and see her. And upon reaching there, I find her crying. And when I asked her what was going wrong, she mentioned that the 6-month-old daughter had been raped and she had broken her spinal cord. Her spinal cord was broken in the process. And the most heartbreaking part of it all is that the person, the perpetrator, the rapist here was the biological father. That is why I just sat down and wrote about it. It drained me and I traveled to the coast. Now, let us look at it from a layman's language. From a layman's level. If you ask me, you don't have to say statistics, say 79 points. Let's just go down to the normal level. If you look at how children who are raised by their mothers or turn out to be, and look at the same children who are raised by single parents. Just like Idel said, there are reasons. Sometimes there are reasons. We can just decide, you know what, Godi, man, you're my person, but haiwezekani because of particular issues. You know, we can sit down and say, although we can't sit and agree on so many things, one thing we need to agree on is this child. And pia wewe utaniambia, because unajua the African man is saying here he thinks he can have custody. Wewe unasema upewi watoto uwalalishe, nyinyi mnakujanga kwa nyumba saa ngapi? First of all, umelewa, umeanguka kwa mtaro, umebeba hapo mkate, umeingia kwa nyumba saa 6. Hiyo saa 6 ndio unafaa kupikia hao watoto. Utapikia saa ngapi? Wewe unawaza kwenda kukutana na maklande huko nje, alafu ukuje na hiyo. In Kilea we have something called Ishira. You want to come and bring Ishira to our children? What is wrong with you? Let me keep that child. You go and do your things there. If it happens that the child wants to see you in this case, and let me tell you, I will tell the child the truth. I will say the truth. If the father was beating me, I will say, hey, baba yako alinitandika properly. And here in this house, we do not believe in violence. You know. Nimwambie tena kitu nyingine, nimwambie here in this house we do not believe in someone going outside and spending your school fees money, but this person here is spending your school fees money. My child, do you think we can live like this? And then we sit down. That is why I started in the first place by saying we need to have these conversations. Children need to understand that sometimes you people are fools. You just do things because you have the opportunity. You hamna response. Hata unapataga, you know, these men who say I may have a very strong wife. Don't call me strong. I am not strong. If you're strong, take this baby and stay with that baby there. We see kama uta survive hata tu 1 hour akikuita. Alafu pia kwa nyumba kitu kipotea, wanaitanga nani? Wakitafuta vitu. Ushaisikia mtoto anatafuta, daddy socks zangu ziko wapi? Wewe ulisikia wapi? Ulisikia wapi African man? Ulisikia wapi?
African man, ulisikia wapi? Jibu swali.
Mimi naweza kujibu, hata nimeanza kuandika notes. Shida ya kwanza, hizo shida zote umesema ni za binadamu wa adults. Wale wako na shida na wanaume, wala wako na shida na madem. Okay, saa zingine pia unajua experience na lifestyle matters. Unajua, ni ukweli kama umetoka kwa society ambapo wanaume ni walevi pekee, utaassume wanaume wote ni walevi. Hiyo pia inaonesha personally bila wanaume. Sasa unaona. Nikijaribu katika hizo ranting zote kutafuta point ya hakika, ni narrative ya kuharibu utoi. Unaona? First of all, sasa acha nikwambie kama Mluya, si usemaje? Kupenda mwanamume ni kufunika matako yake. Sasa kitu ya kwanza hata kama baba alikuja jana amelewa, Daddy alikuwa daddy tu ndio mnaongea. So now the problem na sisi pia is the same, mwanaume pia una hiyo responsibility. Ndio naambia culture zinaanza kushikana, unaona? Na vitu zinaanza kuenda loose. Hii hapo kuna pale kunaenda loose kwa sababu nimesikia mmesema vitu paka tumekuja tu a rapist. Unaona? Chenye tunaongelea are the worst cases of men in the world. Na hiyo iko kila pahali. A pedophile is a pedophile. There is nothing to discuss about pedophiles here. We are discussing normal men like you and me who have a child and they are not having all practical rights to a child.
Like give us just one
I'm a living example. 22 years old son. Tangu na mama yake mnapigiana simu. Of course mtasumbuana. Leo wendi holiday, ataenda holiday yangu. Hii ujinga ya kwanza kuperekana hivi kwanza tutoke hapo. Custody ni kitu mnakaa chini, mnasikizana. Hata kama marafiki zako walipigia simu akasema kuna biological father alirape, hiyo ni kesi nyingine ya kotini, ni kama vile mtu mwingine alikuwa murdered somewhere. Tusizilete katika hii. Tukianza kuongelea genuine men, my dear Muhonja, then we can discuss. Lakini hizi zako mingi ni za wanaume wana shida already. Na already you attract the type of people you talk about. Sasa kwanza wewe mwenyewe kama unaonanga tu wanaume ni rapist, I swear hiyo ni karma. That is energy. Hao ndio utakuwa unaangukia nao. Because utapata watu nikuulize swali moja, utapata mwanamke ana watoto 4 kutoka kwa wanaume 4 tofauti. Na nakwambiaga wote hawakuwa responsible. We ni mjinga aje unazaa na watu 4 hawako responsible.
Si story ya ujinga, si story ya ujinga. The thing is
ni ujinga kwa sababu
Idel, saidia Muhonja. Muhonja will just box us.
It's very possible. It's very possible to get 4 irresponsible men. And
yes,
those things,
I know it happens.
So why are you blaming the woman for the responsibility of the man?
Mimi mwenyewe hata mwanaume pia wewe ukuje umezaa na wanawake malaya 10 pia una shida.
Sasa that is what we are blaming it on women.
Shida kwanza. Sasa hizo shida tukiziangalia ndo tunakuja African man analysis. Ukianza kuangalia katika watu wawili na mmezaa mtoto, shida si ya mmoja, ni yenyu wawili. Sasa hizo zetu tusiweke kando kwanza, ngoja kwanza tunaongelea. Let me finish with you. Sasa already tunaanza kuongelea hii topic ati shida ni kwa sababu tuliachana. Watu wachana, hata Mungu na shetani walikuwa siku moja pamoja wakaachana. Kwa hiyo zikae kando. Kama ndio tunataka, wewe unaweza fanya nini? Sasa tuangalie mtoto anataka mtoto nini namfaa. I understand. For me, I'm very pro kids until a certain age to stay with the mother. I'm very pro that. Hiyo sikatai. Hata mimi saizi ukipanga na mimi na hatujajipanga utakaa na mtoi kwanza tujuage kutaendaje.
Unaona?
And I have reasons for that.
Okay.
And
allow Idel latitude. Allow Idel kindly.
You men, wanaume anaweza enda kuzaa dore mi fa la tido and you still look like you are virgins. You go giving birth everywhere. You still look like virgins because you walk straight without carrying the pregnancy. Sisi tukishazalia wewe umezaa na watoto watu 5 but you still look like a virgin from heaven. And then since umebeba mimba you now
wish
at God's plan.
And let me tell you, people, some of these things hata sometimes nakonga. Yani sasa nyinyi sisi hata spiritually kuna watu, let me now speak at that a spiritual point of view. Kuna watu inaweza kuwa hata ni inaitwaje ni cycle ya familia yenu. Babu yako aliangukia mbaya, mama yako akaangukia mbaya. Wewe unaongenga tu kila siku. You don't pray about it and stop it. So never judge a woman with 5 children from different men. Never judge.
You should.
Never.
That's how you find the
story of that woman. Alafu kuna mtu anakupatia ball anaruka. Huyo hata haezi ona hata mtoto. When I'm pregnant umesharuka. Oh, mimba si yangu. You will never use the legs. Kama ni mwanamume albai mashamba. Forget. I'll rather afadhali niuze makaa mnunulie shamba. You cannot see hata ukuje with you afadhali nende nirudi kwa barabara lakini I buy my child a shamba. Uwezi muona uende uzalishe huko nje. I cannot give you custody of that child. Hata ukuje ukina mabawa zikifanya hivi. I cannot. So,
let's read the comments here. Ladies and gentlemen, Hoza. Zena Hussein says most female parents huwanyima watoto fursa ya kuona baba zao. Ila wanataka pesa za kulea. How now? How can he support the child he doesn't know if he exists? Jibu hiyo swali Muhonja.
Sawa, mimi wacha nikwambie hatukatai the fact that there are moments where kama sijui mbona amuelewi hii fact kuna reasons why tunaongelelea hii child custody. Ya kwanza kama vile tumesema, hiyo ya kwanza ya tuseme mzazi amekufa, tuseme babake amekufa. Now in this case, for example, in this case mimi ndo nimekufa, mtoto wangu amebaki, babake ako pale. I don't know why you guys don't understand the fact that hata hiyo community yenye African man anasema itasema mtoto achukuliwe afadhali ende kukaa na shosho yake, na tena si shosho ya baba sana shosho ya mtoto unaona like shosho ya mama yake, like now my mom raise, because you guys realize that in as much as you're doing that part, the raising a child is not only about money. Raising a child involves mnafanya homework pamoja, you monitor their behavior, you sit down with them and discuss their insecurities, you train them, you find out their. Lakini sasa nyinyi kwa sababu yani una provide kwa sababu fridge ikosangi maziwa na nini, sasa hapo unaona una provide properly. And yes, I can tell you it is wrong kama mtu akiwa willing to take care of their children, it is wrong not to give them access to their children. At the same time, our legal officer here will agree with me. Like you said, hapo, you can be given custody. You can be allowed to come and see this child, yes? But supposing the child is at risk by me taking her to see this man. For example, this man has a history of being violent. Number one. Number two, this man has a history of alcoholism ama drugs. You know, anything can happen. Siwezi wacha mtoto wangu aende kuona huyu hapo. Siwezi wacha aende. But still, it does not deny the fact that you're supposed to take responsibility. This is your child. And if you must see your child, you have to see this child accompanied, supervised. That is why mtu unapata watu wanakaaga chini wanasema baby mama anataka tu bado ananidai kwa sababu nikitaka kuona mtoi anakuja. No, we are actually worried about our children. And like mwalimu said here, Idela alisema nowadays it's not only the girl child pia mwenye anaumia. Unaona how many children get sodomized huku nje, hawa chokora wenye mnapata nanga nao kwa barabara, most of them si ati kwa sababu they don't have good family money or something. They have families at home, but shit is happening at home. Yeah. And like it is not my responsibility to remind you to take care of your child, but I will insist that if you prove to be a risk to my child, I will not allow you to see my child. I will not allow you. Kama hivi venye Idela anasema kama ulihepa nikiwa na mimba, utokeleze yako after 16 years. Unasikia African man anasema kinipe mimba saa hizi atapotea juu anajua I have a strong woman.
Usijaribu kupata mimba ya African man. Usijaribu kupata mimba ya African man.
Siwezi.
Zena Hussein, mwanaume asiyejua majukumu ya wanawe, huyo ni mwanaume bali. Huyo si mwanaume bali ni gume. Lakini bwana Zena akikuja hapa anatuteteanga terms za Kiswahili. Custody belongs to the mom, not unless otherwise. Mom comes first. That is Princess Ola. Wow. Do not judge a book by its cover. Idel said that. And of course, let's go again. Hey, leo Zena zimemwasha. African man, nitakukosoa hapa bwana. Usiwahukumu wanawake bila kujua kilichomfanya mwanamke kuzaa mbalimbali. Labda ilikuwa ni loto alikuwa ameangukia. Aya. If a parent is toxic. Hey, I know Muhanja will love this. Muhanja and Godi understand this. If a parent is toxic, they should not see their child, and they should see their children under supervision. And Muhonja and Godi knows very well. Next week, we'll be talking about toxic relationships. So stay tuned, because tuko na maneno hapa. But again, how does a parent become toxic to their own child? Separate amekuwa toxic. Is it the information they pass? And do we have scenarios that mothers are actually toxic to the child? Because nimesikia pa statement that a lot of my fair ladies have used enough times that ownership noun. Wanasema I will not allow my child, anybody to see my child. Why does it become now a singular ownership? African man. Is that a toxic mother?
First of all, earlier, to be very honest.
Yo si swali African man.
Umepatia wrong.
African man.
Nimeuliza African man. Do we have issues like toxic mothers that are actually planting ideas to their children?
Was that a question?
Yes, that's a question to you. Edel tu ndio hataki ujibu, but mimi nataka ujibu.
Edel anaanza kukatakata kashetani kale kamerudi Basi ongea nitajibu tu, kama una haraka enda. Let me pass. Endelea. Sasa ongea tu. Mimi sina ongea. Say.
Yes, Eli. Unapatia wrong person ku answer hiyo. First of all, kuna toxic mothers, but it depends with it also depends with inakujanga na kile kipain kiko ndani yake. Kuna kipain ndani caused by the husband analetea watoto. You get? I wanted to add on what Mwanja had said. Mimi, a man mwenye it depends na wenye amesema ati tunaomba pesa na tuochie watoto. Mimi kama uliruka mimba kama sijazaa, I don't want anything to do with you. My friend, I'm a hustler. Mimi, I can feed those children, educate them. You will never see them. But if you married me, we stayed within that house. I gave us those, they saw you as father and me as the mother. And then ikafika mahali we were not working out. It's between the two of us ndio sisi to work out. So sisi to separate. But now you continue taking care of these children. They are your own. No. If you are married, continue taking care of them. Ni wako uliwaleta, but it didn't work between
as I
the two
take
of
care
us.
of them, and I know Godi already said there's an issue between responsibility and custody. But as I take care of them and provide for them, why then will you allow will you block me access?
Eli, let me jump in, because
okay, African man.
Ladies first, alafu umeweka wanaume wengine tena wanaongea Hello, ladies.
Let me finish.
I said ladies first, sasa umemaliza kuongea, you throw to another man. Hebu tuenye hizi vitu kawie. Yeah, hapo tusiane. So now, first of all, to be honest, Eli.
Yes.
To answer the question, we are talking about our problem.
I think there's a delay from Idel's side. Let's allow African man to make his point.
Yeah. What I was saying to answer to you is this. What I'm seeing, I don't know if it's intentional or it's the way we want to make it sure, but let's make it some point. We are talking about our problems, our likings, our conditions, our judgments. When you say one parent can determine the other parent's behavior, you understand? You're already judging someone. You're judging someone. Because you do not like his behavior, you judge his behavior, and you even make it extreme. That's the toxicity is coming in. Because I'm just giving, because when you talk about the behavior of the other one, you're already judging. That's toxicity's seed. But
if it's there,
step by step, my sweetheart. Step by step. Okay. Next, mmoja ukiongea ushajiweka ile nyinyi. Now, in the community, when we already divide ourselves, we are dividing to fight. So we are not even talking about our children's rights, how they'll be comfortable, nanini. We are talking about each other's behavior, and we're even looking why we separate. That's the problem. We have to start healing ourselves as parents.
You must know the root cause.
So I'm just putting the conversation online. Whether you had a flashy wedding or you had not a wedding, whether whatever happened, this time it has come to a point you go your ways. The kids are there in between. It doesn't matter. So us trying to get extreme examples is the problem. And this appears for both men and women. It is not that I'm only talking about men. Even if I say, check yourself, how can you just come? Mimi nikipata dem ananihanyanga tu. Na wewe pia mbona unapataka tu mademu wanakuhanya? Ushajifikiria wewe mwenyewe. Na wewe pia unapataka tu machali wanakupatia mimba wanatoroka. Na wewe pia ushajifikiria huwezi fanya makosa same kwa mara nne. That's what I mean for both of us. And the reason is we fail to look at a point. For me yangu ni kwanza nikikwambia personally, nikasikia nimepatia mwanamke mimba, which is very unlikely kufanyika in my life. Na sasa, let me use myself as an example. Na nikisema principle yangu ya kwanza ni hivi, yenyewe kama hatuishi pamoja, naamini from such a small age, wacha mtoto akae na mama yake, kama hatuko pamoja. So you understand? So from me, I start from that perspective. And that's already knowing yourself in the beginning. What am I getting involved in? Because right now what you're doing, we have carried the problem of our relationship. Bila tulianza kukutana. Awe ujui mbona mulikuwa na mtu akakupatia mimba akatoroka. You don't know. You hatujui vitu mingi. Na hata wewe mwenyewe mbona umepatia mwanamke mimba ukatoroka. Kwa hiyo mlikuwa mnadanganyana. Na watoto wako ndani sasa. Wacheni hiyo ujinga mlifanya. Tuangalie watoto sasa. Kama ni custody, tuache extreme. Baba na mama, watoto wako na right ya receive all the blessings, all the things, and to live with their parents as much, both of them. Hata kama mmoja ni mwendazimu, mtoto ako na right sana hata kama wewe
hata kama mimi mwenyewe kuna legal officer hapa atakwambia mimi mwenyewe nilibeba mimba.
Nimesema kitu moja, tuongelee custody kwanza. Nasemaje?
Kama mimi ni mwendazimu atachukua mtoto.
Sikiza. Wewe unakimbia hivi point for point. Point ya kwamba hata baba akuwe ni mwendazimu, hata mama akuwe ni mwendazimu, huyo mtoto ako na right ya kusocialize now. They are the parents.
Hapana.
Akuwe ni maskini, that is the child, because you know what we are doing. The problem we forget is the moment we start to use even the others, because behavior, your definition of behavior is pure judgment. So already, the moment you start to describe the other parent, this is also for men, not only women. The moment you start to describe the other parent with mentioning the behavior, it's a very start beginning, unless it is you're solving a problem. Donasema, this problem comes because we are dealing with our problems. Ni sisi ndo tuko na shida. Ni sisi ndo tabia zetu haziingiani. Ni sisi si watoto. Sasa tutoke kwa hiyo story ya shida zetu, tuangalie what is the best way saa hizi kupatia watoto rights zao. Ukuwe huna pesa, ukuwe huna nini, tuangalie watoto. Tusiangalie shida zetu hapa. Kila mtu ako na ex, I assume. Hatuwezi rudi huko, kulienda. Watoto nao tuangalie hapo. Eden, Muhonja, dadi wanaweza waambia as my sisters. Ingine tuachane nayo. Shida zetu tuache, tuangalie watoto.
Aya, Idel, unataka tuangalie watoto ama tupigana shida zetu? As you respond to that, I would like Muhonja to equally prepare, and then we'll have the legal mind tell us 1, 2, 3 things about custody. Idel. Idel, if you can hear me. Idel inataka kuna mtu anapiga.
Please.
Proceed, Idel, if you can hear us. Tunakungoja.
Yes, I can hear you. Only nowadays, men are so irresponsible. Men, I don't know if it's only in Kenya, ama ni wapi, men are looking for rich ladies. Ladies with money, ladies with cars. Men are so irresponsible, but I think in Kenya, this thing was caused by during Moi era, sorry to say, because we tulienda sana to take care of the women, to empower women, and we forgot to empower men. So tunaanza what girls, everything special girls, empowering girls. We forgot about the boy child. Boy child nowadays were very responsible. They cannot take care of their children. They can't pay rent. They can't think out of the box. Most of the marriages in a break because the men are irresponsible. Most women out there ndio wanalipa marent, wanalipa school fees za watoto, the way the kids dress, the way the women dress, men don't know. Sasa uwezi niambia hiyo kitu, unaweza kuwa nakani alafu usiku unaniambia songa huko pinduka, nikwambia I love you. How? Na nimehustle the whole morning, nimekuja everything I'm supposed to pay and everything. So inanikwaza. Ikishanikwaza unapata hiyo enga. Most of the marriage that's in a break, it's because the man not responsible. If you could not pay the bills in the house, why should I give you a child that hata ujue size yake ya kiatu, ujue anavaa kiatu size gani, ujue ako class gani? Like my father, he didn't even know when I did class 8. Yeah, alijua tu niko high school. So these men are so irresponsible. You cannot, if you wapi ufanyie nini mtoto, you couldn't feed the child in the house. You don't even know the shoe size. You don't know hata long una buy a 3/4 at this fit the boy. Are you, and then you want me to come and tell that to go see your father? For who? Where? Why should I expose your weakness, your irresponsible behavior to the children? In fact, some of you, we crown you with good words. Now, Danganya, your daddy did this. No wongo. We did for you. Eh? So most men in Kenya are so irresponsible. We even cover things out. We cover things for you. We lie to kids that tumefanya nisinjo tumefanya. Eh? So if the man was irresponsible in the first place in the house, tukawachana, why am I bringing a child to an irresponsible man?
Mohonja, do you have another lecture to give these men that are here before I can allow African man to
And
give
back
his rejoinder? And
to
finally,
you,
Godwin,
back to
Okay.
back to
studio.
studio. Thank you. Mohonja.
So African man, naturally, a man is programmed to do three things: to provide, to protect. Hiyo ingine nimesahau ni Yesu, lakini hakuna hata hapo moja inasema to nurture. Hiyo inakwaga yetu naturally. That is why nyinyi you look for mothers in your spouses, because hata we mwenyewe you're programmed to be pampered and all that. And that is why I mentioned kila asubuhi, hata ikwe baba ndo anamsha watoto, mama anaumia, ni mgonjwa, utasikia tu watoto wameenda kuamsha huyo mama tu, huyo mom, socks zangu ziko wapi, haezi kupuliza. That is one thing. Number two, the reason why we are bringing this thing off, it all depends. Like you're saying, we're focusing on the negative. If we were supposed to focus on the positive, why are we discussing it anyway? Yeah. The main goal of this is to see this different perspectives of how this should be. Like you said, we stop focusing on the bad parts. But you see, let me remind you one thing, that kama tumeagree mimi na wewe na tuna co-parent vizuri, mtoto anakuja weekendi huku, kesho anakuja kwako, why would we be here talking about it? We are talking about this because we are talking about the extremes here in this case. Yes,
I think to answer you back, I'll just tell you, for me, to solve a social issue, there are two ways: what's happening around us, and if you look at ourselves. What I hear is that nyinyi men. So if I'm going to discuss with you, and you already put me on the antagonist side, you are in for a fight. It's not a discussion. That's why I said, first of all, already topic kwanza nitaambia ili after show. It is yani vile imekuja haiendi hivyo. Hii ni kuweka wanaume wanatesa shida za wanaume mbele ya wanawake. Hiyo nilishapita. Najaribu kuadvise as mzee. Finish. Tuache shida zetu. Hiyo mambo ya kutana nyinyi na nyinyi itoke hapo, kutafuta extreme ku justify points, because you know what we are doing now, we are building a narrative. The narrative will be wale wanawake wako right, wanaume wote ni walevi, lakini wewe unaishi na walevi pekee. Hata vile hana walevi ataanza kuona walevi kwa sababu hiyo ndio topic iliwin, which is good for entertainment.
Listen, do you realize you and I are talking about the same thing?
Yes.
Do you realize?
So now when it comes to children, shida tu iko kwamba, back to the point, ikionekana wewe na mwenye mmezaa na yeye inashindikana, Kenya kuna legal na kuna customary. Tukianza kuchunguza customary, some of us, they never even go to Oshagota kuongea na auntie yao hapa nani kumuuliza, na huyo auntie pia alipitia yale. Tumewadharau, wengine tunaita sisi ni wa Nairobi. Unachapwa na shida Nairobi na solution iko hapa Oshagwa wendi. Utaanza kusema umerogwa. Kwa sababu nini? Tunajaribu, tunaamua tu kuwa wajinga. Sasa hizi solutions ziko. Custody, we have it. When I talk about a child is raised by a community, it means ongea na auntie yako. And of course kuna wale ma auntie sumu mbaya. Ndio ulisema paka naamua mtoto lazima aende kwa grandmother wa ule side ya kina mother. Hizo ndio vitu tunafaa tuangalie. Legal mind atatuambia, hata kotini nafikiri mtazielewa. Utaambia bana, kashida kama hivi, kama ni kwa sababu mzee ni ulevi, ama ni kwa sababu ya kuhanya nini na nini, better hata nyumbani mnaweza ongea nao. It doesn't matter, because these things, there is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. If we know that, it's a very simple problem to solve. Imekushinda na mwenye mmezaa na yeye, tafuta in the community mtaanzaje. Personally mimi nishaipita. There are some things umekuwa na ma ex na uko mbali na home, tafuta best yako, hebu ongeni niaje. It doesn't matter. Si eti kujaja wanawake wakafanya hivi, tuache hiyo. Pengine hujui communicate na ule mmezaa na yeye. Mtu mwingine akikuwa hapo itasaidiana. Na kwa sababu mmeshindikana, sasa msolve kwanza problem zenu kando, msolve problem zenu kando, in between mtoto naye apate rights zake. Na rights za mtoto ni ku-associate, ku-socialize, ku-enjoy company, love, blessings zote from both sides as much as it can.
Hatujakata but custody. Sasa hapa tumewachana. Nani anakaa na mtoto? What are you saying exactly?
Wacha nikuambie, kukaa naye physically, kitu kwanza historia custody, I didn't want to use the name custody kwa sababu tunaitumia most of the time as a fight word. You understand? That's why I said, for me, let us do a digital mind alisema something very clear. Kuna responsibility, kuna hizo zote. Problem iko hapa, mnabishana mtoto akae wapi? Why? Si muangalie anaweza faidika wapi na nani? Hakuna mtu anasema hivyo.
Si ndio tu
Hiyo ndio tunasema sana na faidika na sisi.
Sema for example, hiyo kitu ya kusema na mama. What if mama kuna shida fulani na pengine job yake haiallow? Inaweza kuwa mada ako busy, wewe pengine some mtu anaweza amua, sikiza, I'm running my own business, I have time for the children, the mother is working 6 to 6, he has no time for the children. Watoto watakaa na mimi. Na hakuna shida. Ni practical. Shida iko wapi?
Great. That is such a heated debate. Godwin has been listening to all of you, cutting everyone's throat, and we have comments from the comment section. I have Shelby Cattell who says the custody of the children are given to a mother until the child or children reach 18 years of age to decide. I don't know how true that statement is because the law keeps evolving. We will find out. Princess Ola amesema customary my foot. They always side with their family, and I believe this is the man's side. I will go the legal way. Idel says, Noreen, not all men, yes, they couldn't feed the child just because circumstances did not allow, but if given a chance, they'll definitely do better. I think it's just a matter of time. Wow. Okay, that is Noreen's perspective, but of course, for everybody, I see Boaz Moha anasema Godwin nimechelewa, but better late than sorry. Okay, for everybody that you haven't been here yet, this is quite heated, and we want to find out how wise Godwin is. Your moment to shine, sir.
Well, early today you gave me a very difficult task after kusikiza Matasio, Edel and Muhonja, but I'll try to neutralize the entire thing in the sense that Muhonja na Edel work on a points, but they're bringing out from an emotional point of view. Now, from a legal perspective, there are things wezi kuja kusema naona hivi ama this is what I feel. You have to prove. Unasikia?
Yeah.
Edel said, unajua baba atakuwa irresponsible, nini, I cannot, unajua, not unless you can prove how irresponsible he is and how harmful he is to the child, you cannot just claim watakusikiza because you're a mother, you know. Now that's the bitter truth about law. Unasikia? You have to come sema, this is the father, tumekanae for this while, or tulipatana, because unajua there are also instances when you got that kid either when you're married, ama you got the kid before you got married, then later on you got married, and then maybe you are married, then you divorce, you know, there are all those scenarios. So lazima uangalie from what point of view are you saying huyu mzazi ako irresponsible, and then when the court is deciding, the first thing they consider is the well wishes of the kid, you know. So you cannot say what you feel is better because kuna vitu zenye ziko outlined. Mtoto atapata shelter ukimchukua because you might be the mother, but wezi provide your food, wezi provide your shelter, wezi fanya nini. Unasikia? You cannot just take, because now well-being ya mtoi iko compromised. Kama hata soma, hata pata chakula, hata maybe atakuwa ndala nje, unajua. Na baba yake ako
I think Godwin has decided to freeze on us, but the point that is there is, what can we prove? Is this a good or a bad parent? And I think we talked about good or bad father last week. As we conclude African Man, what is the wisest thing to do in the event two people cannot agree on living together as husband and wife, or man and woman, before I can allow legal mind to come back?
I think for me, I said before, it's like, it is hard, it's very difficult. I've gone through it personally, but to really put your person aside and think for the child. That's it. You'll start to see, for example, utasema, oh, mtata simpendi, but you realize sometimes those things that you don't like in the father are the things the child like in the father. You understand? Some. Sasa unasema ni tabia but kuna click. So if we forget, ukikaa tu hapo uone lakini mtu ina mnyimanga kuona babake, akisikia aoni babake anasikiaje? Akisikia babake anakuja anafurahi aje? Mwangalie mtoto wako. Communicate na yeye. Wacha shida zako weka kando. Pia mimi nilipitia, I have to do that. So that's the most important thing. Tuache shida zetu. Let's think. Tuko watoto. I work with kids. This one I meet every day with parents. Huyu hawezi kuchukua mtoto kwa crash sijui mamaka amekataliwa kuchukua. They're happening every day. But the moment you put our sides, shida zetu kwanza kando, utaona miracles zikifanyika.
Idel, you're a teacher. You're a teacher. For a moment, let's put aside the emotional aspect of this conversation. You teach small children that come from both kind of families, probably single parents, others come from a complete unit of parenting, others come from blended families. What is the big disconnect you see when a child is missing one side of parenting?
There's a very big disconnect, because some of them, you can just see from their parent. Maybe a child is this hyper and jumping, then anakuja tu ana cool down. She's not playing anymore. Going for lunch, she doesn't want to eat. Maybe she's just losing weight. You can just see the change in her child. Performance goes down, and maybe this, if maybe the mother is being battered, or problems are just at home. Such kids, you can just tell from their performance and the way they act in school, and it's really traumatizing. By the way, they treat them as sometimes they confide in us. They just come and cry, and you can see those who come from blended families. Wako tu poa, life iko tu poa, so ndio nilikuwa nimesema at the beginning, if we have issues, tusifanye mbele ya watoi. Usikuje ukanigonga mbele ya mtoi mazee, ukuje nianze kutukana na bwana yangu ati umbwa nini mbele, natukana the father mbele ya watoi. Sometimes even we wives are supposed to cover up some things for kwa hiyo hao wanaume una sugarcoat kidogo.
Sasa unaanza kukubaliana na mimi okay.
I make an emotion scandal.
Unaona?
And now teacher's point of view.
Okay.
Some you come and you sugarcoat, unamwambia that is just, sometimes the dad can come in the house akona hasira, mwambia no, he just had a bad day at work, na si bad day, unajua nini amereact, but unamfunika for the sake of the children, unamprea watoto. So ikifika mahali penye haiwezekani, please songeni tu pole pole. When these kids grow up, now you can explain, namwambia, you see why we did that? It was because of this and this. Do you see why I'm staying alone? Dad is there because of this and this. But you don't erupt mbele ya watoto. Kids they record from 0 to 11 years, to 12 years. Wana record vitu. Hata mimi vitu niliteza, mtu alinifanyia makosa when I was a baby. Sijawahi sahau, lakini sasa hivi usahau, I brush off and go. But kids record, they record everything. So it's good mna avoid hizo vitu mbele yao. Wakisha grow at a certain age, kama teenager, now you can explain. And you see, this is what I used to go through. Unakumbuka that day when dad met me? Now mtoto anaanza kuconnect. Lakini akiwa mdogo, please don't. Just tell him the way the dad is good, the mother is good. But we baba mwambia your mom akona condition. Just create something, ndio mtoto asikuja akabeba mamake kama.
Sawa, Idel, Muhonja, is it something that you are willing to share with your young child and tell them your father has this and that weakness, or will you rather sugarcoat it and make their father look like a hero if the father is the problem?
I will not sugarcoat anything, because it brings me back to what I said at first. Like, we have grown up watching Alejandro Cuando Sos Mia, and we think love is just supposed to feel like this. And for me, in this house, I live with my daughter. Like, we are just two people, yeah. And sometimes we have these conversations, and she knows I'm an activist. against violence. She knows mom is an activist against all these things. So, for example, I bring in someone because clearly we can never be with the dad. So I bring in someone to come and because that someone is my boyfriend, and we are trying to see whether we can raise this person. And for instance, this particular person has a problem with drinking. Trust me, it does not only affect me, it will affect the child also. And if I am leaving this guy because alcoholism is one of the reasons, I will explain it to my child properly and say, hey, mom, your dad is an amazing person. He is a good person. However, he has a problem with alcoholism. So we are parting ways for him to deal with the alcoholism, because these are the effects of the alcoholism. If we keep together and he keeps drinking, we are going to end up hurting each other, not only emotionally, but also physically. And this might even lead to us dying. I would want my child to understand that it does not, when you're in a relationship with someone, it's this one and this one and this one. Whatever they do, you forget. If you beat me, I will not cover you up. I will not, because I will have dents. So why should I say robbers beat me up and my child was there hearing me scream, even if you're beating me in the bedroom? I will not. And let us learn to speak about these things openly to our children, so that from a young age, they will know it is okay to walk away from violence. It is okay to say no. It is okay for someone to, it is okay for someone to you can call me a hoe because I've moved from one relationship to another. But Mimi, shamelessly and boldly, I can date even 52 people in a year. Yes, and I don't even care, as long as you are doing your own things. There are things that are going to hurt me and my child, I am not going to stay there. Same way to even the men. If I am a problem to you, like I'm always erupting, I'm always doing things, I'm beating you up, I'm violent, you are supposed to explain the same thing to the child and say, hey, you have an amazing mother. However, she has a, just like African man said, ama I think ni Idel alisema, una create a condition or something. Hakuna ku create. Sema he has a problem, he is bipolar, and bipolar is a mental illness. He has highs and he has lows. And when the highs are there, we are good. When the lows are there, he's beating us. So you see, mama, we can't deal with this. Yeah. The child will know a person, excuse me, a person having such like issues can get treated. Yes, and if we can get treated, the better. A person having issues to do with alcoholism can go to the rehab. Atajua, hata onanga in future, mamangu alikuwa tu ananiambia, by the way, una hata hizi za kusema babako alikufa, hakukufa, ako na hii shida, alinipiga ndo nikatoka, ama ako na hii shida, aliniwacha nikiwa na mimba yako, ama alifanya. These are things that you just have to tell your children, because in future they will blame you, wakwambia ulimdanganyishia.
Okay, baba yako hakukufa, yuko hai, ni mlevi, analewa chakari, and we are trying to help him. Idel, ninaona una struggle na something.
Kidogo mimi ni kidogo tu Eli. Nasema hivi.
Yeah.
Do you know love? Before mkosane, you loved each other. Mimi, this thing, before you expose the child, be very sure that angalia age ya mtoto. Unajua unatuanganga leo usiku mnapendana na usha expose vitu mmefanywa. So leo umetuangwa unaexpose mtoto. Kesho nyinyi mnakuja mna make up usiku. You see, you make up usiku
kwa blanket.
Na mtoto umemwacha na roho, ulimwacha na majeraha jana, mka make up usiku. Ukamwacha na majeraha leo, mka make up usiku. Sasa before you start spitting it to your child, be sure that you are exiting, because nyinyi mtashinda umetwangwa leo mkameka usiku, na umemwambia babako ni mbaya, amenipiga usiku, my love, I've forgiven you. So before
usiku anakupiga viboko zingine, remember the love, remember that you are sure about your decision.
Yes, now already usha damage mtoto about the father, na huku mna make up. Sasa ndio sema angalia age ya mtoto, ukiamua kuexpose baba, make sure whatever you are saying utaseparate. Okay, si ati mmoja mmeka mwanzo kusema my love, na mtoto ameshachukia baba yake. So it depends with the age of the child, and whatever you are doing, is it the correct thing? That's okay. Mimi siwezi kama mtoto ataniua, kama ataniua na this one will kill me. But if you still have feelings for this guide, Hii gaidi inakutandika usiku, mna make up, mnatandika. Usilete, don't show the child the ugaidiness of the father. Start showing wakati umeamua enyewe am exiting, because bado kuna mapenzi hapo katikati. You make up mna make up usiku.
Okay, okay.
Na usha damage mtoto.
Godwin.
So, yeah.
Let's allow, because time is really not on our end. And Godwin, I know you were to share lots of your knowledge with us, but in a minute, kindly summarize.
No, I'll take less than a minute. My advice to parents, both wenye wanaishi pamoja na wenye hawaishi pamoja, if you have issues and it's come a time for you to separate and a child is involved, kindly, if you can find a way to discuss and solve these things outside the court na muagree as parents, the easier. We have the legal route, but it's not easy. It's a long process and it's a very expensive affair.
Not only that, as you conclude with that, remember the legal way always opens up a Pandora box of things that nobody heard about. This is the only court that people get to tear each other naked and embarrass each other before the public. Would you rather go through that, or would you be a gentle man, or should we call you a lady, and sort things in an amicable way? After all, your child's affairs and well-being should always come first. And if you are a great parent, you know what to do. Let your children's happiness always come first. This is my perspective. My name is Likuyani Ali, and on behalf of the African man, Muhonja Africa, Godwin Segera, and of course Edel Kweyu, and we had one Paul Wakimani mwenye internet ilimfanyia ile kitu. He wasn't able to join us, but he sent me a lot of messages, and akasema, when you are buying something, it is written where is as it is. Yani ile shida vile likupata ikiwa vile unanunua ndio itakuwa. You cannot change it along with the way. So always sort it beforehand, because once it's done, it is a done deal. Until next time, have a great week ahead, and see you on Thursday as we bring you much more stories right here on our channel, The ArtsinHeart Official. Remember to subscribe, and if you haven't subscribed to Muhonja Music, this lady, the Africa, she's doing an amazing job. It's Muhonja Africa. That is Muhonja Music YouTube channel, which is Muhonja Africa. And there is, of course, Idel Kweyu, a great singer and performer, na kuambia huyu mama akikuimbia gospel yake unafurahi. Usimwone tu na hasira, anaimbiaga Mungu pia na hasira ya mapenzi. That is it for us now. Until next week, see you on My Perspective on Tuesday as we discuss toxic relationships. Good night, God bless you, and we are out.
So somebody with suicidal ideations does not have the capacity to control. It's not that they can switch on and off. Yeah, the suicidal ideations come as a last resort. They have tried everything else, and in their mind it's not working. So when they are thinking, planning about suicide, it is to remove themselves because they view themselves as the problem.
ArtsinHeart, your home of authentic conversations.